Hi, John. Okay, so thanks for taking time out. It's very busy at NASSCOM this year.
Incredibly so. Yeah.
It's yeah. I mean, I've been going from one interview to the next, and it seems quite a crazy environment. Um, I mean, clearly, your focus is on the UK market, the
Yeah.
UK business.
Yeah.
What are you seeing as the sort of growth trends in the UK? I mean, which business areas are particularly interesting at the moment?
The areas for us, public sector is particularly busy at the present moment, and there is, as you know from the conversations you had yesterday and today probably, shared services is high on the government agenda, and we are fortunate to have SBS as being recognised as one of the leading shared service centres in the UK. And the growth has been growing as the year has gone on, because SBS when we started was very good delivery, but we've had to increase its visibility across the public sector, and it now finally is beginning to get the recognition that it deserves, and we're seeing accelerated growth. And the issue for us still is we try to press the government for greater mandation of those services, because as long as they remain optional, we can't really deliver the maximum benefits that an operation like SBS is capable of delivering. So we have interesting debates with government about, if you want to really generate the maximum saving you can, you have to push those shared service centres more than maybe they have done today.
Right. And it's interesting because I had breakfast today. I mean, I met Dr. John Suffolk,
Yeah.
The government CIO, and he did specifically mention SBS as an example of a partnership that perhaps some other suppliers could explore and look at.
I think the fact that it is a joint venture, I think the fact that the governance allows control from the government side as well as from the private sector side, it's a very good model to show the strengths of private sector and public sector coupled. And the fact that there's a double kicker in terms of benefit, and the trusts that come in generate a bottom line benefit at the point of contract, plus we then share any profit back with the government, and they can then redistribute that, or the Department of Health in this case can redistribute that. It's an attractive vehicle for everybody.
You think that, I mean, this kind of partnership model, I mean, not necessarily even with public sector clients, but the idea of creating a true partnership where you both actually can benefit from structuring the deal that way is perhaps a model that perhaps more suppliers should be exploring.
I think it is a model that many companies will start to explore. Public sector is particularly suited to this kind of venture. It's more difficult in the commercial sectors, unless you have multi-divisional organisations where you create an internal shared service. But that's less attractive, I think, in those cases. But certainly, we're working in various areas of public sector to create examples based on the SBS model. The issue is always everybody wants to be the first, and for the shared service to be based around their authority or department, and everybody else has to join them, and that creates some difficulties in persuading other people to join the kernel operation. But SBS and DOH have certainly been very good.
Okay. Well, I mean, one of the other key areas that Steria has announced it's exploring is the idea of sustainability.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of your collateral that's been published around the idea. And I think it's not the typical green agenda that you do this because it's the right thing. It's more that you can actually make money and be green at the same time.
We wrestled with this for a long time, and we always ask the question of people when they express interest in green and sustainability. You get to the very sensitive point to say, well, would you actually pay a premium for a green or a sustainable solution? At which point, most people balk and say, well, I wouldn't quite go that far.
Yeah.
So the idea of coupling sustainability with strong business sense, to us, is the most pragmatic way of approaching the whole issue. The solutions that we're putting together and the offers that are there not only make sense from a green and sustainability point of view, but they actually do generate savings. So they're sound, practical solutions that any business should be exploring. And by the way, we have to do something about sustainability. It's a serious issue for us.
Yeah.
Particularly in an industry like ours, which in the old days was not the greenest of industries, but now with the changes in technology, our server rationalization programs, you know, laptops with low power consumption, VDUs with low power consumption. I mean, everything is pointing towards refresh programs, so as well as reducing the cost of ownership, you reduce the effect of this kit on the environment. So, from a hardware and technology point of view, interesting. And the other area that we're still trying to promote is the whole sustainability issue in terms of private sector or companies' roles in the economic environment that we're in. So our programs in terms of supporting schools programs, supporting education, supporting the local economy and the local environment, they're equally important to us.
Okay. Well, I've been taking a look at some research that the Steria commissioned this research with K2, and it's just published today. And I think, one of the things that jumps out immediately to me is nearly 70%, 68% of managers interviewed for this research said that they genuinely believe that an environmental policy or green can be good for business. So clearly the point that you made, there's a lot of people who buy into that. But on the negative side, there's only 22% who believe that they can actually do anything about it because their company is too fragmented. So how do you sort of deal with the people who believe that sustainability can be good for business, but perhaps feel that maybe their company's not ready for those kind of policies?
I think they should give their companies a bit more credit and ask the people that work for them rather than take a snapshot view of the corporate image. The way that we've approached it internally was to engage staff across our organisation in all of our green initiatives, and we currently have about 800 volunteers across the company actually giving their own time to look at sustainability issues. So rather than taking this as a top-down management approach to how do we change the company, where you do hit this kind of fragmentation and fiefdoms and do it to somebody else but not to me, we went bottom up. So we've had competitions running with people inside the company about ways that we can improve the sustainability for the company. And those volunteers across the company actually unite and create a different view, a completely different view of the organisation to one that we would have taken top down. So this thing about engaging all of the population in the issue and asking them to contribute to it does create a very different view of the organisation as you first perceive it. And we've had massive enthusiasm for people actually all wanting to help. I think the bit that is slightly more difficult is when you move to the living green issue, which says you individually and how are you going to change your lifestyle in terms of honouring that. So away from the corporate now, you as an individual, what's your contribution to the green agenda?
So you want to see the chief riding his bike to work and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I live a long way from the office, which is my excuse. But it is that kind of thing. So it's the contribution of thousands of people in some small way adds up to a large effect, as opposed to departments taking a stance on how you're going to do this, that, and the next thing. So it is about engaging the whole organisation.
Well, one thing also from this report, it said less than a third of organisations are currently actually measuring their carbon footprint. But do you think that that's something that's going to change? Because this year the government's mandating that large organisations at least have to audit their carbon footprint.
It is inevitably going to change. It is a non-trivial task. It is a major commitment from any organisation to move to generating KPIs to check the carbon footprint.
Is there some sort of agreed standard now? I mean, how do you? Are different auditors offering different measurements?
ISO 14000. Yes, I don't know about the different ones. I know the ones that we are committed to, and it has cost us a huge amount of money to actually put the processes in place to measure everything that we do. So, as I say, this is a non-trivial exercise, but it is inevitable that we're going to have to go down that road. In terms of, I would say the change that we've had to do for this accreditation has been greater than the stuff that we've had to do for previous standards. So it's a big task.